Sacramento Methodist Assembly. High in the New Mexico mountains, a welcoming place for exuberant youth and churchgoers of all ages, hoping to find some peace and rest and solace. They all come to the mountain to refresh their souls. We chose this spot to meet one of the hardest working pastors in the annual conference, the Reverend Dr. Pam Rowley. This is Pastors in Pews getting things that begin with P. So Pam, thanks for being part of Pastors in Pews with Powerade. This is the drink of the future.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but ministry, you got to have some Powerade, right?
For sure.
All right. Well, hey, the reason I chose this pew for you is, first of all, because we're in the Bishop and Mrs. W. Angie Smith Chapel here at Sacramento Methodist Assembly. Now, how long have you been coming here?
7 years.
7 years, and this is a good place?
This is a great place.
So the chapel is a really, I think, it's just got this sort of sense of holiness to it.
It does.
And a lot of the great folks that I would think are the mentors of our ministry have sat in, well, these aren't even pews.
No.
But you seem like an upfront kind of person.
I am, for
Yeah?
sure, up front.
Yeah. I mean, you're an established leader in our conference, right?
Yes.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
What is it about being up front in a pew or in leadership that says Pam?
Oh, okay. Well, from the time I was a kid, I sat in the front pew with my family in the front pew.
Really?
We wanted, the best view we could get
Oh, wow.
of the pastor,
Yeah.
of the music,
Yeah.
everything that was going on. So yeah,
Were you
I'm a front pew person.
Were you ever in the splash zone, like at a baptism that went crazy and, wound up getting you all wet?
I remember my own baptism.
That's
yeah,
good.
I remember that one.
Yeah?
And I did get wet at that baptism.
And what tradition did you grow up in?
I was in the Mennonite church.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was baptized as a believer.
Yes,
when
right.
I was 13 years old.
Wow. So was I.
And it was in the front pew.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
When you think about moving from a first pew, second pew sitting situation to sitting on the chancel in the various churches that you've pastored, what's the difference between being a lay person and being a pastor in your mind?
When I was a layperson, I was a choir director.
Oh, really?
So I was still in the chancel.
Oh, wow.
Directing the choir and directing handbells and all of that.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've been, a pew sitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know, leadership evolves.
Yeah.
And it was an easy transition in some ways because I had been called to both.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Wow.
when you follow that calling,
Yeah.
it's an easy transition.
Yeah, when the call is consistent with what you're doing, it really does live out pretty easily, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Wow,
right.
that's
And then,
that's a great way to say that.
when you're obedient and faithful to that call, then
Yeah,
very-
I think that's where I just fail: obedience and faithfulness.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Would you like to say more about that? Scott?
No, I wouldn't actually.
Okay, all
Thank
right.
you, though. So, everybody in ministry has some great stories. So, if you were thinking about a story that sort of captured your ministry, or one that you sort of think about, or an anecdote that you talk about, what would it be?
Yeah. Well, I think one of my finer moments was during communion.
Okay.
Yeah. I was serving a church in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. That's in the Rocky Mountain Conference, and Highlands Ranch is a south suburb of Denver.
Okay.
And it was a pretty hopping church. I was one of 2 or 3 associate pastors,
Oh, wow.
depended on what year it was. So it was my turn in the rotation to consecrate the elements. So I was up, blessed the bread and the cup, and prayed the prayer, and then I was giving instructions for how we were going to receive communion that day, and and had all of this in place. And then I added, and come to my station if you would like the gluten-free element. That's what they did, just like that.
I love that.
I know, but it was a holy moment.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
It was just kind of embarrassing.
Oh, no.
But, all these chuckles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that was fun.
They probably that endeared you to them even more, probably.
Well, maybe. And I would occasionally receive rice crackers in my staff box.
Oh, yeah.
Just let's give her a little extra dig.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. Well,
fun.
I have found you to be glutton-free.
Thank you.
Cheers. Wow. Well, I felt for you at the beginning of your ministry at St. John's, because wasn't it your first Sunday that you had to go to church and you had fallen? Right?
Yeah, it was.
And, like black eye and
black eye all the way down here. 10 stitches. How do you like it?
Oh,
Not too
wow.
bad.
Oh, my
Come
gosh.
on. But yeah. That's how I started my first Sunday at St. John's.
gosh.
I was rather colorful.
Yeah, so you kind of showed me your scar there. Now, you're an asymmetrical hair-wearing person, okay?
Yes.
So now, a lot of people love symmetry. I mean, symmetry is a big deal, and you're going asymmetrical. So can you tell us the history of the asymmetrical cut for yourself?
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. Hilda Rivera was my inspiration.
Oh, really?
Because she had kind of a funky hairdo. I started with long hair or shoulder length, and then thought, okay, I'm going to get a little shorter. And, well, maybe someday I want to go really short, so let's just try it out.
Yeah.
So I went short on this side, and now I have half of a haircut.
Well, is that you only have to pay half?
Oh, but that's a great
See,
idea.
I would really bargain with your hairdresser and say.
Yeah, I think I have some bargaining power here.
Say, I won't come back until you give me the half price cut.
That's right.
Of course, then if you do that, you might get a half price cut.
That's true.
And no one wants that.
No way.
I don't know if you know this or not, but I cut my own hair.
Really?
Yes, I do.
Okay, nice job.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. So Pam, what's something you enjoy about ministry?
Well, I love people.
Okay.
And
now, do you really?
Truly, I do.
Do you really?
Here, really, I
really?
do. Yep. I love people.
Not just because Jesus tells you to?
Well, that might be a little bit of it.
Okay.
I really love walking alongside people in all journeys of life. And I love to help nurture the spiritual life and those spiritual disciplines that help us grow in relationship to Christ.
Yeah. So, now I've heard you preach a number of times. Do you enjoy preaching as part of ministry?
I love to preach on Sunday morning. It's the getting there that's really hard for me.
Yeah.
But once I'm there, I love to preach.
Yeah. What's the what would you say is the hardest part of ministry for you?
The administrative pieces. Yeah, that'd be a big part of.
Yeah.
What's a challenge?
Yeah. Is there? I have my reasons why that's a challenge. What are your reasons?
Well, they don't in seminary give you too much on the finances of the church and how to budget and all of that. Yeah. So that's a hard piece.
And administration to me is always an indirect ministry. I mean, it's just so behind the scenes. It's integral. But man, sometimes you have to look a long, long way to see how this form is ministry. That was what challenged me a lot about administration. Oh, and the fact that I was terrible at it. So anyway, as you think about a week in ministry, and I know they're always crazy, what's the best 15 minutes of your week and the worst 15 minutes of your week?
Worship.
Okay.
That would be my best. Staff meetings. The worst.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. The worst 15 minutes for me was always like the last 15 minutes before the first worship service. And I just started panicking, like, what was I going to do? What am I going to, I'm so underprepared. I have no business doing this. Ah!
Yeah. That's what happened to the hair, huh?
Hey, Pam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So, now, let me ask you this. This is a little... anyway, your husband builds ramps.
He does.
Yeah, he like builds a lot of ramps for a lot of people.
He does.
Now, are you supportive of ramps?
Yes, I'm very supportive of ramps.
All right. That's very good.
Yeah, he is a great guy.
Yeah.
He's a very cool guy. Yes, yes.
Way to go, Pam.
I know. I did really great. And he's just a good partner in ministry.
Yeah.
He would follow me to the moon.
Oh.
You know, if the bishop asked me to go there.
Oh.
But that won't happen.
Well, it's a new church start, and you're going to have some training for that, Pam.
Okay, yeah. That will take
And I'm
a bit.
not sure that's technically within our Episcopal area.
Probably not. Yeah.
So
That might not work out.
yeah, there's some judicatory lines that you'd have to wrestle with. Yeah. Now, tell us about your desire to be bishop.
No desire to be a bishop.
Come on.
No desire to be a bishop, Scott.
Okay.
Okay. I think I detected a roll of the eye.
Oh, they rolled,
Yeah.
Pam. They rolled. So, Pam, I know that you're senior pastor of a large church. You're the chair of the Order of the Elders.
Yeah.
You teach at Hogwarts. You are a professional parasailer. You have your own pineapple grove in South America, I think it is. Do you have any other talents you want to tell us about?
Maybe not a talent, but a surprise relative.
Oh,
You want to hear about that?
yeah.
All right. My surprise relative. You ready?
I don't think so, but go ahead.
I'm related to Phyllis Diller.
Really?
Really? I seriously am.
How-
So I'm told. Yeah.
So you're told you don't go to her house for tea? Oh, she's dead, right?
I'm pretty sure she's dead, but I don't know for sure. But yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Here's the story.
Okay.
My grandmother and her grandmother were cousins, and she grew up a Mennonite. She was a Mennonite in Lima, Ohio, and that's where my grandmother is from. And never met her, and that's all I know. Except she has skinny legs.
Well, there's
Remember
that.
the bird legs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Hey, does anybody else ever call you non-stick?
Never. No, never heard that one, Scott.
Well, all right. Well, Pam,
Yes.
you're a heck of a great lady, and just so happy that you're here and part of New Mexico. And thanks for being in Pastors and Pews with Powerade.
Thanks, Scott.
You're
It was fun.
Thank you. Very good. Now, have the Mennonites, are they, in terms of like language, do they also call themselves the Womenites?
No.
Not so much.
Well, that is a really good one.
Well,